Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live. Sorry, I'm a minute late. Excuse me. I actually went live over on YouTube before I realized that I was on the wrong platform. Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you lay down and almost fall asleep right before the live. Oh my gosh. So sorry about that. Oh, my brain. Sometimes. I was just so tired. I was watching a video with Gina Kay, and her voice was lulling me to sleep, and I made the mistake of leaning over and laying my head on the edge of the chair. Oh my. And then there I was. So we'll wait for everybody to find us. I think I'm on the right platform now. It is Tuesday night, right? Oh my goodness. I'll have to go back and delete that YouTube. Oh, I only went live for a minute though before I went, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I need to be on Facebook. All right, well, let's give everybody just a minute or two to find us here, and then we'll get started. And hopefully everything is working. Hi, Tracy. Hope we don't have any internet issues tonight, because I am all over those. So let's see how it goes. Hi, Laura. Sorry, did anybody get the YouTube notice that I'd gone live? Oh, hello, Jennifer. That's my sleep fog brain there. I got to get to bed at a decent hour tonight, that's for sure. All right. So the 25-20-27 in color product sale went live at midnight Mountain Time today. And so you can check out all those items when you're looking, go into the menu. Then you should be able to go to specials. And then I'm just going to look here real quick and see how that. You should be able to go to menu, specials. Yep, and then there's a thing there for 2025, 2027 in color, and everything that's included in the sale will be in that category. Okay, so 15% off all those products in that category. Let's get that out of the way, and that goes through the end of August while supplies last for the items. Stampin' Up! Also refreshed the last chance category in the online store, and they added a lot of bundles, stamps, dies, papers. There's a lot. And anything that was already previously there, they made sure to mark down. Some of the stuff, like the Inspiration Squad, I just got this on free shipping like a week and a half ago. And it's on the last chance list and marked down to $18.90. So who would have thunk it? But anyway, here we are. This one is on the last chance. The tags to go bundle that I used last week is also on the last chance list. So be sure to go in there and check that out if you don't already have those products and you're interested. There's quite a bit in there, and there's some good deals. All right. So the Inspiration Squad. This is so stinking cute. We're going to use this tonight, and I'm going to mash this up with some other products, and we're going to make a couple of cute cards. And did I just see my internet flash? I hope not. You guys, I'll try to keep a better eye so I know if something's going on. I get wound up in what I'm doing, and then I don't even notice things. So in addition to the Inspiration Squad, I'm also going to be using the Charming Day Bundle. This is an online exclusive that was released in May, I believe. And our embellishment is going to be the low profile sparkle dots. These were in the July online exclusives, part of the Pear Sweet collection, and these are included in that 15% off 25 to 27 in color sale. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, hang on. I gotta fix my light. It keeps flicking on and off. All right, there we go. That's what's freaking me out over here. Okay, and then we're going to be using the Everyday Arches dies. The birthday set that goes with this, the Arch Wishes, is one of those that they moved to the online, or moved to the last chance. And then we're going to be using the Exposed Brick 3D embossing folder. Okay. So, and then for inks, we're using Blackberry Bliss and Memento Tuxedo Black, and that is it. So not much in the way of ink. We will be doing some coloring. I pretty much have that done, but I'm going to show you a technique. And so let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay. So let's grab the Memento Tuxedo Black. And we're going to take the large flower from Charming Day. And that's a lot of ink. You need 2 of these flowers. I'm only going to do 1 because, like I said, I already have them ready. So there's 1. And then we're going to take the little dragon. I'm calling her Andarna from the Fourth Wing Empyrean book series. And we have her. So these are the stamped images that we need other than our sentiment, which while we're at it, let's just go ahead and flip this around right here. I think this will, yeah, it'll work, I think, maybe. Yeah, we're going to try it. It's awfully close, but we're going to try it. See how it goes. Actually, I might be better off if I go like this. Nope, I won't. Never mind. We'll redo it if we have to, if I can't make it work. It's not that big a deal. I just need to stamp I Believe in You right there in Blackberry Bliss. And that is all of our stamping right there complete. Okay? So, for our little Andarna girl here, we're going to take the, let's bring in our Stampin' Blends for our coloring. And I'll just put these out here, so if you want to take a screenshot, you can. This is what we'll be using. So we've got the Fresh Freesia, Dark Highland Heather, Light Mossy Meadow, Dark Old Olive, and then Light Peach Pie and the Lemon Yellow combo. Okay. In addition, I have the basic black watercolor pencil. So we're going to start with the purples and the watercolor pencil. Oh, I got a cramp in my thumb. Oh, okay. So I'm going to take the dark Highland Heather and see if I can get these off with that thumb the way it is. Cramping. And we're just going to take this. I'm going to color this up in the dark Highland Heather. Now you could skip this and you could use Blackberry Bliss if you wish. You want to take the shortcut route. We're going to do this. And then we're going to dab this in each of the little dragon scales here. Okay, so, and then lastly, we're going to do this. Do her little wing here, but I'm going to start at the bottom. And because I'm using the dark Highland Heather, I want this to be darker down here. And because I don't have another deeper purple here, I'm going to start here and I'm just going to add a little bit more color layers just to give that some good depth. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to do the same thing right along here, which will give me just a little bit of shadow with just the one blend. Okay. All right. There we go. Now we can set that aside. And then we're going to take our basic black watercolor pencil. And I am just going to go back and add in my watercolor pencil. I'm going to add more color where I want the shading. So I'm pressing a little bit harder along these edges, and then I'll just go back and fill all of this in lightly. And that will keep my shadows intact, okay? And we're going to do that on all of these Highland Heather parts, okay? Just take that black watercolor pencil and color right over the top. Okay. Hello, Cynthia. Oh, Cynthia Howard. Hello. Welcome back. Hopefully the internet doesn't cut out. And thank you for watching. It's nice to have you here. Okay, so we're just going to continue on here. Hopefully the weather's nice in North Dakota. We're supposed to get a little rain here shortly, actually. So, okay, so we're going to put our black here on the wing. Okay, and I'm going to put more black at the base and less at the top. Okay, so now that we have that, we can set these aside. And now we're going to bring in our Wink of Stella. Okay, and I'm going to use this like a watercolor brush. So for the wing, I'm going to start at the base. And I'm going to work my way out. I don't want to go out of the line here, so I'm going to switch my direction. Okay, so now you can see I have that nice rich color, but I also have some sparkle. Now this is not quite a Blackberry Bliss, but like I said, if you didn't want to do it this way, you could use Blackberry Bliss. I'm just going to dot on all these. And what that is just going to soften that watercolor pencil and blend all of these colors into each other. The pencil reacts to the alcohol in here, and because the blends are alcohol, everything kind of just blends together. Okay, and then to clean our brush, we're just going to grab a piece of scrap paper here and wipe our glitter brush until there's no more color. Okay? So that is that, and then we're going to finish this off. I don't know why I took away the light and dark fresh freesia. Then we'll finish this off with the light and dark fresh freesia. So I'm just going to put a little bit of dark around the whatever you call that there. I would call it gills, but I know they're not fish, so I don't know what you call them. And then a little bit down here. And in here. Okay, and then I'm going to go a little bit around these spiky things. A little bit in here. I'm going to follow the artist lines here, just dabbing in some color. There would be shadow at the feet there. And extend that line of the leg out so that it looks more natural. And then I'm going to go back with my light fresh freesia, and that end doesn't work very good. So let me go here. And then we'll just color this all in. Okay. Make sure you go over the dark so that the dark and the light blend together. You could go in smaller sections, but I'm just doing this a quick color for demonstration purposes here. And if my brush end were not, I needed to replace that, but I didn't get to it. That brush tip isn't working very good. I think this blend might be just about on its last leg. Okay, so we just keep blending until we have the look we want. Okay? Okay. And then lastly, this stamp set does not have a die, so we would have to hand cut that out. And I forgot to put the Wink Costello right there in the eyeball. Okay, so there's our little lady, and we would cut her out. But through the magic of video, here she is. Okay, so for the rose, I'm not going to color this whole thing. I'm just going to tell you quickly how I did it, because I wanted it to look a little bit like a peace rose. And so I started with the dark lemon lolly, and I just went around where the petals overlap other petals and threw in some dark lemon lolly. It doesn't have to be precise, it doesn't matter. Just dab in some color, call it good, okay? And then I went back with my light lemon lolly, and I colored in the rest of the rose. Okay. If you have white spaces, no biggie. Doesn't matter. Then we're going to go back with the dark or the light peach pie. And here I'm going to go in and wherever I think I want some orange, I'm going to dab that in here. And again, there's no rhyme or reason. Just put it in there until you like the way it looks. And then leave that. And because you've already put the light down and the paper is already wet with alcohol, if you're quick, then the peach pie will just kind of blend in and leave it looking like kind of like a peace rose. Okay, so that's how I did my roses. And then for my leaves, I've taken the dark old olive and the light mossy meadow. So I'm going to start with my dark old olive. Okay, and at the base of the leaves with the dark old olive, I'm just going to flick up some color, making sure if it's near a petal that I get that shadow effect all along that petal. Okay, and any petals that overlap. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to go back with the light mossy meadow. And I'm going to go from the tip, follow the line of the leaf, and fill it in and overlap. Tip of the leaf, going down the side, filling it in and overlapping with the dark old olive. Just to blend those two together. Okay. So that's how I did all my leaves. And you can see then we have the dark at the base and the lighter out. Okay, so we've got that. Now, again, I took Wink of Stella, and that's all of our coloring for this one. So again, I took Wink of Stella and I just ran it over my roses here. So I've got two of those, plus my little dragon. And then I took from the Arches dies, the fourth largest arch, and I die cut it in smoky slate, and then I ran it through the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. I wanted it to look like an arch of stone. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. We have a card base in fresh freesia. This is a standard A2 card size, 5.5 by 8.5, folded in the center at 4.25. And then I've taken a piece of the Charming Day or Floral Charms Designer Series paper. This is part of that sweet collection for it's called Floral Charms. That includes the Charming Day bundle. And then these are the patterns that are included in that pack. Okay. Really pretty paper, but I wanted that Blackberry Bliss pattern. Of course, you could color your flowers however and your dragon and use any of these patterns and it would be fine. Okay, so I've got this, and this is 4 by 5.25. So let's go ahead and add this to our card base. So we've got that. And then we're going to add our stone piece, our arch. And because it's 3D, we're going to use, well, maybe we are. Some liquid glue here. Okay. And then we'll put this about right here. Now, before I get that too set, I want to put my flowers down here and just take a look and make sure that that's where I want that. Okay, so about right there centered. Looks about right. Okay, so we'll put that down. The next thing we're going to do is take this particular rose, and I'm going to trim this off. And I'm just going to cut right along the leaves here with my scissors. And then I'm going to come up here and trim that like so. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm not going to throw this piece away. I am going to use this. It just didn't fit my design exactly as it was. So we're going to take this flower, and then we're going to take these like so. Oops, hang on. This was one other thing I didn't like. I'm kind of picky this way. You would not have to do this, but I'm just picky about these things. So I'm just going to take and trim out this too much white space right there for me. Okay, and I'm going to do that on both of these roses. It's just too much, and it doesn't take but a minute to cut out that white space. And I do not mind fussy cutting. For someone who hates fussy cutting, skip this step. It's really not that important, and no one's going to be picking your card apart going, oh my gosh, there's too much white space there. Okay, so now we've got this. We're going to put this down here, and now you can see why I cut it apart, because it's supposed to go more up here, and I want it tucked in deep here. And then our little Andarna girl, she's going to go in here. So we need to start putting these together. So I'm going to start by putting this one down. And I'm just going to tuck that in the back there. And before I put that on, that glue on, I should have given those a flick with my thumbnail, just to stand that up and give it a little bit of dimension. So we've got that. Okay, well, let's not be dumb the next time. Let's be a little smarter this time, Teresa. Okay, so we've got that. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put this on with a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals down here at the bottom, kind of. Okay. And that's going to impede there, so let me go ahead and put this one on. Because if I don't, and again, let's do it the smart way first. That will just give our flowers a little bit of dimension. I'm just going to put this down like this. So we'll put this in here. And then we're going to take these off of here. If you have trouble getting those off, just stick your fingernail or the tip of your tweezers or your take your pick tool in the center. And then we're going to kind of slide this in here like this. Stick that up a bit. And actually, I'm going to put, I don't know what I was thinking. I need to put a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals down below here. right here and here. And I just want it at the edges here, like so. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and add this on like that. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to take our little dragon here, and I'm just going to put some liquid glue down here. And again, look at me. Put the glue on first. I want to give that tail a little bit of a twist along with the head, just so that the head looks like it's sticking up off the page. And then we're going to stick her right down in here, like so. Okay. And then where did we put our I believe in you? I'm just going to take this, and you can use a trimmer and trim this out, or be brave and just hand cut it straight across. And then I'm going to cut an angle here and an angle here. Add a couple of mini dimensionals. Hopefully I did not get that too narrow. Boop. Okay, so we've got that. Again, I'm going to press those in, pull those off. I find the tweezers, these kinds of pointy nose tweezers, work great for getting those mini dimensional backs off. And then we're going to take and put this right here, hopefully straight, like so. And finally, we'll add some of the gems. Get my tools out of the way here. All right. And then we're going to grab these Mossy Meadow gems. These come in Darling Duckling, Mossy Meadow, and Secret Sea. And we're just going to put one here. We'll put a smaller one here. And then I'm going to grab another bigger one. And I'm going to put that right down there. Okay, then I'll take the tip of my Take Your Pick tool and give those a nice press. And there is the front of card number 1. I hope you like that. And I hope it gives you an idea of how to use that stamp set. So here's what I did for the envelope. And then the inside of the card, I took some of that leftover piece because I cut it into a 4x12 strip. And so then I used a 1/2 inch here and a 1/4 inch at the top. I have not put in a sentiment because I don't know what I'm going to put in for a sentiment. So we're just going to leave it like that. I did take from the Charming Day the little branch of leaves and stamped that in the bottom, and I colored it the same way that I showed you with the ones on the front. And there is our first card and envelope. I hope you like that. Okay. Oh, thanks, guys. I'm so glad you like that. I didn't want to just stick the little dragon girl down there. I envisioned her standing around a stone arch with some flowers, and this is what came together from what was in my brain. Okay, so for our next card, we're going to use the other two images that are in that stamp set. And so that's going to be I think this is a lemur and the lion. Let's move these out of the way and bring in our supplies for that one. So in addition to the Inspiration Squad, we're also using Loveliest Tree, and we're only using Loveliest Tree for the die. That's this one right here. Okay, I'm not actually using the stamp set, I'm just using the dies. And then I'm also adding the Just a Note bundle. This was just released in the July online exclusive, so we're going to use that. And then we're also going to use this die from Tags to Go for our sentiment. Okay, and that is on the last chance list. And I'm sorry, I didn't look up to see if that was discounted before we went live. Our embellishments for this one are the Shades of Green hexagons. These are from that Turtley Cute Suite from the annual catalog. And then we're going to be using some black linen thread out of the black Baker's Twine out of the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with making our leaves because that's the only part I didn't do ahead of time, really. Well, no, I guess there's a couple things, but we're going to take these, and as you can tell, these are really just scrap pieces, okay? So we're going to take some Garden Green ink and some soft seafoam ink and a tiny bit of Mossy Meadow. I'm going to start with the soft seafoam, and I need one extra little piece here. And I'm just going to put in a little bit of Mossy Meadow. I don't care if it's streaky or anything. In fact, at some point, I'm just going to pound on this. And then I need one little piece more right here. Okay, so we've got that. All right. Then we're going to go back with Garden Green. I'm just going to swirl some color through. And I know it kind of looks like a mess, but trust me, it's going to be great. I'm going to clean that off because I don't want it to be green. I want some deeper hue. And I can't get that if I have that color too bright. And I'll be able to pick and choose where I want to cut from this way. Okay, so we've got that. Let's set those aside. Clean this off, and I probably don't have one of those clean. Let's grab this. I know one of these will be wet enough to clean this. Okay. All right, so we've got that. Now we're going to take the die from the Loveliest Tree die, and we're going to cut ourselves some leaves. Okay, but we have to do that 3 times, and I'm sorry I didn't do 2 of those ahead of time like I should have. I got a little sidetracked today with one of my friends, and I enjoyed every minute of it, and then I didn't come back and finish it up, and it's okay. Okay, So now you can see that we have all those different hues in that tree leaf. And if you get these little things stuck on your plates, just take the edge of your paper cardstock and take those out. Now we'll take that leaf again, or that tree leaf again. I'm going to run that through a second time. And I've got another one. And let's take our little brush here. Get the rest of those out. Okay. And then one more time. Swipe those into the trash can. And there is branch number 3. Okay. So there's that. This glass mat works great for that. All right, now we've got this one. And we'll just take our fingers and run that along. Some of these you aren't even going to see, so it's not going to matter. And again, I'm going to take that cardstock, brush that right into my trash can. Okay, so there's those 3 pieces that we need. We'll set those aside. And then we're going to take and I thought I put some white paper in here, but apparently I didn't. We need a piece of the Lovely Gardens March Online Exclusives paper, and I'm using this pattern, and this piece is 4 by 5 3/8. And then I also have another piece that's 4 inches, and I cut it at 3/8 of an inch. And then just like this piece, I'm going to split this 4-inch piece at 2 inches. Okay. I did the same thing with the 3/8 inch piece. And I've got 2 pieces of white here for the inside that were 4 inches by 5 3/8, and I split that in half in 2. And then I put those 2 3/8 inch pieces right there for the inside. So let's set that aside. Our card base is soft seafoam, standard A2 5.5 by 8.5. This is scored at 4 1/4 and at 2 1/8, so that we can fold this piece back like that. So 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. We're going to put these 2 pieces on here, so let's do that now. So I'm just going to lay this right down here. I have a very narrow border, about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. And then we're going to put this piece over here on the right side. And you don't have to check the pattern, but I'm going to see if that's going to line up. Yep. And then I'm going to turn this upside down. Oh, good. Thank you, Cynthia. I'm so glad you like that. Okay, so we're going to do this and put this in here like so, if I can get it straight. All right, so we should be there. Now, we're going to go ahead and add these 2 pieces to the inside while we're here. The one I write on, I usually only put tape at the top, and that way if the recipient wants to pull that piece and add another one, they can pull that piece, add another one, and send the card on forward. But for this second one, I'm going to put it at both ends. And then we're going to put this in here. Okay, so this is the inside of our card now. And this will be the outside. So I've taken a piece of soft seafoam and the Just a Note die, this paper die, and I cut that out. And then I'm going to take my stamp positioner tool just because it's easier for me. You can eyeball it and stamp it if you like, or stamp it and then die cut it, whatever works for you. And let's see, how did I do this now? Yeah, I knew that was going to be a problem because was I going to remember what I did? I did butt this right up here. Oh, and this line right here. This should work. We're going to check it. We'll check it, make sure I've got it set, and if not, I'll reset it. Nope, that looks just about perfect. Okay, so then we're going to take that garden green ink again. And ink up my note paper. I'm going to give that a press. Perfect. And then we'll remove this from here. Find my plastic piece with my sticker here. Oh, good. I'm glad you like those greens together, Tracy. I thought they turned out pretty cute. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's set that aside. All right, and then we need to stamp our images. Okay, so I'll grab a piece of white here, right here. That'll work. And then we need the lion and the lemur. So we're going to do Memento Tuxedo Black. Got a lion. And a lemur. Yeah, I don't like the way that's stamped. Okay, there we go. Much, much better. All right. Move those out of the way. Okay, so for our lion, to color him, these are our images for that. Or our, our Stampin' Blends for this project. So for our lion, we're going to do the lion himself. We're going to use Daffodil Delight and Darling Duckling. So we're going to start by putting some dark around the edges here. And I'm going to go inside the foot here, around where there would be a shadow. And then I'm going to continue that foot down there, a little bit in here, and around his mane. And then the tail and this little spot in his foot. And the ears right here. Okay. Then we'll take the light Daffodil Delight and we'll color the rest of those in. These images color quite quickly. I'm not trying to be super fancy because that's not how I color in the first place. I'm not a colorist. I just color how I like and how I think it looks. Okay, and then we're going to go back here, and with the light Daffodil Delight, I'm going to color in the face, keeping away from his fangs as best I can. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with the Daffodil Delight Dark I'm just going to add a little bit of dark in his cheeks. For his mane, I'm using Dark Darling Duckling. This is one of those blends that's on sale right now for 15% off. And I'm just going to follow the artist's lines for his mane. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of dark under the chin. And then we're going to fill that in with the dark, or with the light Darling Duckling, making sure that we overlap under his chin to bring those blends together. Okay, so there's our cute little lion. Now for the lemur, I'm taking the dark smoky slate, flipping this over because I didn't like this one. I didn't like the other side, so I'm flipping it. I'm going to start with the dark smoky slate and put a little bit of smoky slate at the bottom of the white stripes here. Okay. How's the internet doing, you guys? And then I'm going to put just a little bit of dark up here and here. And then a little bit here, here, and here. And then we'll finish this off with the light. Actually, I do better with the nib tip if I on these smaller spaces. It's a little bit tighter space, and I can just swirl that in a little bit easier. Okay, there we go. Now I'm just going to take just a tiny bit of the smoky slate right along here where there would be a shadow. And then I'm going to take my color lifter and I'm going to flick those in toward the chest just to kind of blend that in. Okay, so there's that. And then for the tree, we're using the natural tones. So I've got the medium SU 500 and the medium deep SU 300. The smaller the color, the darker it is. So we're going to start with 300. And I'm going to go around the face here and the hands. And the leg and the foot and the tail. Okay. And then I'm going to finish that off with the medium. I'm just going to blend those two together. And the reason why I skipped a number is because the evens are like a yellowish tone, and then the odds are like a medium, a reddish tone, or vice versa. I can't tell you which, but every other one is that way. So, okay, so we have that. Now you have to hand cut those. And through the magic of television, here they are. So there's our cute little characters. Now ahead of time, I cut from Smoky Slate these pieces from the Take a Note, or Just a Note dies. Okay, so I cut two of these binder clip things and one of these. These are Smoky Slate, and that's Basic Black. And we're going to start putting this together. Okay, so we're going to start with these, and I'm going to put these down kind of like this and a little bit off, and that's going to be fine. And then I'm going to put this up kind of like this, okay? But I want this one on the bottom. So I cheated with this. Now you could put some liquid glue. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat, and I'm just going to put some Stampin' Seal at the bottom here. And then I'm going to put this in kind of like that. Maybe not so high. Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to lay these two out. And this is where my lemur is going to go. So he kind of looks like he's in a tree. So let's go ahead and put that in. I want to put this one down first, but this one I have to be careful because it's going to go off. So I want to make sure I only hit the bottom section here. And then I'll put this about like that. And this one in kind of like that. And I haven't pressed that down hard yet, so I still can move those, but that looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give that a good press on the back. And then because this has all of that stuff behind it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put this down with some Stampin' Seal. Okay. And we're just going to stick this in here like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take my lion and we're going to pop him up. So we're just going to put a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals here. And he's going to go here, like so. Oops, come on. Let's twist you a little bit more that way. There we go. All right. So far, so good. Now we need to put our, uh-oh, what happened to that other one? Oop, here it is. Now we need to put this together. Okay, so this is going to go here. And I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of liquid glue, and I only need it to go just part way up. So I'm just going to put just the tiniest bit of Tombow right there. And then I'm going to put this right here, like so, and let that sit for just a second. Okay. And I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to get some mini dimensionals. And I'm going to put one here, and here, and then I'm going to strategically place this one right here at the top, trying to catch these two little frames there, okay? Then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put glue on the front of this, okay? I'll go ahead and move these. Actually, I should have put those on last, I think. Hang on, let me move these two. Let me move these two. I might need to move those. I want those on top. Okay, so we're going to take this, and again, we're going to be careful on how we do the glue because we don't want it to go above the clip. And remember, I'm on the front side of the clip now. because I'm working on the back side of this. So I'm going to put this here like so and try and get that kind of in that binder clip there, or in that mini dimensional. And then I'm going to take those mini dimensionals. Oops, come on. Now I'm going to take these mini dimensionals and secure the binder clip and the binder clip. Okay. And then I'm going to take this off of here. And we're going to set that aside for just a minute. And then we're going to add this to our card front like this. Okay, so I'm going to put it at a little bit of an angle, so I need to make sure that I don't put any glue on this side, otherwise I'll glue my card closed. So I'm going to put some adhesive here, here, and here. Okay, and then I'm going to put this at an angle like that. Open that and make sure I don't have any adhesive there. And then when I put this down, I'm going to add a little bit of extra liquid glue to the top of this binder clip so this lays flat. Place this right up here at the top like that. And then I'll give that a little pat so that sticks down. And now all we have is our sentiment left. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our strip of cardstock here. And we're going to take the Hang In There sentiment from the Inspiration Squad and Memento Tuxedo Black. And I don't think this piece is going to be big enough. Oh, because it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be this one right here. All right, so we've got this one right here. And we'll stamp that down. We've got that. And then we're going to bring in our die cutting machine one more time. And our cutting plates. And we're going to get the tags to go dies. And this tag right here. And this is going to barely fit this sentiment. It's almost like it's perfect. So I'm just going to tack that down so it doesn't move. Roll that through. Okay. And now we have our sentiment tag. Okay. Now to put this on, we're going to take and make a bow with some basic black baker's twine. I'm just going to make a double bow here. I just want a small one. I don't need it to be huge or anything. So we'll just tie that up real quick. I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm going to take a glue dot, a mini glue dot. Stick that into the mini glue dot. Take my tweezers. And I want this to position about right here so it kind of looks like it's hanging in that clip, although I do have my thing a little low. It'll be okay though. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this down here like so. That's how I want my bow to be. Then I'm going to take another mini glue dot, put it on the back of this. And situate that in there. Press that glue dot down. And all we have left now are our gems. So let's take our shades of green hexagons. And we're going to use the Granny Apple Green, actually. That's what we're using, Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to take one of the larger ones. We'll stick it down here. Then we'll take one of the smaller ones, stick it there. And then I'll take another one of the larger ones and put it right up here. And again, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool once I'm happy with the placement and give those a good press. And there is the second card. And for this one, for the envelope, I stamped the lemur. I didn't color it. And then I just put hang in there on the envelope back. And there you go. Ah, I'm so glad you guys like those. Okay, so there are our cards for tonight. I hope you did enjoy that. Can't get that one to stay down. Just a fun way to use that stamp set in some unexpected ways. All right. Okay, so thank you everybody for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Share it with your crafty friends. And I appreciate you. We will see you again next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook. Have a good week. Thank you for the hearts.